When God created heavens, he first created the water. And so we want to make certain that that water remains in the hands of the people of Baltimore City now and forever.
Baltimore is on track to become the first major U.S. city to ban water privatization.
This bill is approved.
At a hearing on Monday, City Council voted unanimously to pass a resolution proposed by Council President Jack Young to ban the sale and lease of Baltimore's troubled water and sewage systems.
Well, today, this council stands here to say enough is enough. With the introduction of this charter amendment, we're closing the door on the possibility of privatizing Baltimore's water and sewer system.
Before the hearing, environmental advocates, council members, unions, and faith-based groups held a press conference in City Hall to drum up support.
Water privatization, simply put, is unethical, immoral, and dangerous. Communities that have privatized their water systems see skyrocketing rates, lost jobs, and declined quality of service, because when corporations come in to run water and sewer systems, they have one goal and one goal only, and that is profit, not the public good.
Among the attendees was Mayor Catherine Pugh, who originally proposed this charter amendment at the end of June.
I don't care how folks will double down on trying to buy our water system. It is not an option. It has never been an option under this administration.
The mayor did, to her credit, had it in her package of charter amendments, but it was lumped up with a lot of other stuff that we didn't agree with, so we just picked out the stuff that we wanted and overlooked that piece.
If the mayor signs the amendment by August 13th, the proposal will go before voters on the November ballot. If it passes, the resolution will amend the city's charter to preserve public ownership and control over water and sewage systems.
I'm confident that voters in November will overwhelmingly approve this change to the city's charter that will prevent the destruction of Baltimore's water system.
This would be the first charter amendment of its kind in the country, and the first major citywide ban on water privatization.
The first city in the country to do this was the city of Northampton, Massachusetts, but Baltimore is, the first major city in the country to take this proactive measure.
This comes during a crisis of water affordability and accessibility in Baltimore. The city's sewage system is a century old and creates major challenges for residents. Under a federal consent decree, Baltimore must spend $1.6 billion to repair it. The city says this prompted them to raise water and sewage bills by 33% over the past 3 years. Eccles says that if the city's water were privatized, they'd go up even more.
Been an enormous amount. The rates have quadrupled in, I think, the past 16 years. We know that the rates are going up a lot, but they're not going up and adding inflation for corporate profits, inflation for CEOs, inflation for people who are running a corporation.
City officials have maintained that they're not trying to privatize the water delivery system.
There are absolutely no plans for privatization.
But this hasn't eased fear amongst anti-privatization advocates, especially because last year, lobbyists pitched handing over control of the water system to Suez Environment, a French utility company.
These companies coming in from Europe and other places trying to privatize our water, outsource our jobs, and take away our jobs from these hard-working public works employees.
Water privatization companies have been circling Baltimore since 1997. So we've seen them really push even harder in the last few years. Veolia was trying to come in 2014. Suez has been coming in and trying to pitch the city on a 50-year concession lease.
Advocates say that water privatization would mean a loss of jobs.
And nationally, they've said whenever you privatize a contract or outsource, we in the ASME know that we lose 30% to 40% of the workforce. These are workers that live, 95% of our workers of ASME Local 44 and Housing Authority live in the city of Baltimore.
And are concerned that it could exacerbate inequality.
What they will do is they tend to cut corners when it comes to materials. They will use cheaper pipes, or they will do less maintenance. They will cherry pick areas where they will prioritize maintenance, and that tends to be in predominantly white neighborhoods. So communities of color and low-income communities get left behind.
They say that the federal government's antagonism toward public utilities makes this proposal even more historic.
Trump's infrastructure plan has essentially incentivized cities to privatize their water system by increasing matching federal funds for cities that will. And so I think this really is a reboot to that, and to say that we are opposing any and all privatization is so powerful, especially in a climate that's like handing out benefits to corporations left and right.
This bill right here is going to galvanize all of us to work together to make sure we can show them on this local level in Baltimore City that we can carry this throughout the state and throughout the country, so we can tell people like President Donald Trump to stop privatizing, outsourcing, and contracting out our jobs.
For The Real News, Barna Noor, Baltimore.